Today on the Commanders Report, I am reacted to Fansided's list of 4 Commanders players that were tabbed as quote-unquote off-season losers here, and I'm going to give my reaction to this, give you guys my take on these 4 players throughout the entirety of the offseason program to this point, leading into training camp. But speaking of training camp here, if you're excited for Commanders training camp this year with Jaden Daniels and in the first year of the Dan Quinn era like I am, make sure you guys click that thumbs up icon right now to kick off today's show. By clicking that thumbs up icon, you help out the YouTube algorithm and you help make this video the best it can possibly be. Okay, with that being said, let's get into Fansided's list of off-season losers here. The first being second-year wide receiver Mitchell Tinsley. Now, if you guys have been around the show for a while and you've been subscribed and you've been watching our show, you know that I'm a big fan of Mitchell Tinsley. As an undrafted free agent last year, I thought that he was one of the better UDFAs to come into the league, and he ended up making the final 53-man roster for the Commanders last year. Didn't play a lot. He was more of a backup piece, a depth piece at wide receiver. Didn't see the field a whole lot. But this is what Riggo's Rag from Fansided had to say about the second-year wideout. Luke McCaffrey and Olamide Zaccheaus both impressed over early workouts and immediately surpassed Tinsley on the wide receiver depth chart. Marcus Rosemy-Jackson, another undrafted free agent, also gained momentum during his early transition into the franchise. Continues to say here, this doesn't bode well for Tinsley. A huge effort during Washington's training camp is needed to retain his place on the 53-man roster. If not, then a place on the practice squad to continue his development seems likely. And unfortunately, for a guy that I really like in Mitchell Tinsley, I tend to agree with Riggo's Rag here, where the Commanders have made a big investment at the wide receiver position this offseason. They may not be done. Rumors are swirling around about Brandon Ayuk, and as we sit here today, this is still a very good wide receiver room the Commanders have right now with Jahan Dotson, Terry McLaurin, De'Ami Brown, and of course, they made an investment in guys like Luke McCaffrey and Olamide Zaccheaus this offseason. They brought back Jamison Crowder. They still have Dax Milne on the roster right now. So Mitchell Tinsley just continues to go down further and further down the totem pole here, and it honestly wouldn't surprise me if Tinsley is more of a practice squad player as opposed to somebody that makes the final 53-man roster. But let me know down there in the comments section, will Mitchell Tinsley make the final 53? Give me a yes or a no for today's pinned comment. YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. When that happens, take advantage of that time by giving me a yes or no down there in the comments. Then we get to the second loser here on Fansided's list, and it's second-year center out of Arkansas, Ricky Stromberg, who really struggled last year on his first year in the National Football League. This is what Riggo's Rag had to say about Stromberg's performance this offseason. Stromberg was a third-round selection in 2023 who was seldom seen as a rookie. The former Arkansas standout played just 26 offensive snaps before going to injured reserve. Those who drafted him are no longer around. Others have been preferred, so it's hard to look at his aspirations with any confidence. And again, I have to agree with Riggo's Rag here that it's not looking too great for Ricky Stromberg, and he's certainly in a position now heading into Commanders training camp where he really needs to show out if he wants to make the final 53, because yes, you make an investment in Tyler Biadasz. Instead of saying, yeah, Ricky Stromberg's our guy, he's going to be our future starting center, you signed Tyler Biadasz to a multi-year contract. So it doesn't seem like this new regime here in Washington that did not draft Stromberg, by the way, that was the previous regime, they don't seem to have a high level of confidence in what Stromberg put on film last year. And of course, you get Michael Dieter, who can also play center as well. So Stromberg is certainly in a position right now where he has to really show out in training camp, or at least play well enough to earn himself that backup center role with this football team. And at this point, man, and after what we saw from him last year, really struggling in the opportunities he did get, I'm not too sure if I have a high level of confidence in him at this point. Now, coming up here on the Commanders Report, 2 more offseason losers and my thoughts from Riggo's Rag. But before we get into that, let's have word from our sponsor here at Fanatics. Go to chatsports.com/Daniels because this is a great opportunity, guys. If you want a Jaden Daniels jersey, not only can you get that jersey in your closet today, but you can also help out the channel here and help support what we do, and that is talk Commanders football every single day. All you got to do is click our link, chatsports.com/Daniels. That link is going to be in the comments and description of today's show. And then once you click that link and then you make a purchase, Fanatics is going to send us part of the proceeds to continue helping us make more Commanders videos for free here on YouTube. So if you are planning on getting a Jaden Daniels jersey regardless and you want to help out the channel, this is a great opportunity to do both right now by clicking chatsports.com/Daniels and picking up your JD jersey in Commanders colors today. Then we get to the third loser here on Fansided's list, and it's safety Percy Butler, another player that I think is pretty good, especially as a backup, but this is what Riggo's Rag had to say about Butler so far this offseason. Butler saw plenty of starting reps last season after Forrest went down with an early injury. The former fourth-round selection gained 64 tackles and made some impressive plays against the run. However, his deficiencies in coverage were concerning. If the likes of Jeremy Chinn and Dominique Hampton continue to flourish, a situation could emerge where he's cast aside entirely. Now, personally, guys, I think that Butler is too good of a player, especially on the special teams aspect of things, for him to get cut. I think with the new kickoff rules and how important it is going to be to have high-quality special team players on your roster, I definitely think Percy Butler is going to make this roster. I don't think he's going to have a rotational spot on this defense. I do think he's going to be more of a depth piece like he was last season at free safety, and then he's going to be used primarily as a special teams piece like Jeremy Reeves is also used as well. So I really like the safety room here in Washington. I think that with Derek Forrest, Jeremy Chinn, and Quan Martin, that trio is really going to do a lot of good things for this defense this year. And then if Forrest ends up going down and you need somebody that can come in with experience that plays a good free safety, I think Percy Butler is one of the better backup free safety options in football. Then the final loser on our list today that we're going to be talking about is Efe Obada, the defensive end that, got a big injury last year and he's still working his way back. He's not 100% back healthy. And with all the investment that this team made at the edge rusher position this year and even moving some guys from linebacker to edge rusher this year, it certainly seems like Obada needs to show up in training camp to be able to keep his roster spot. This is what Riggo's Rag had to say. Obada is on the road to recovery and should participate fully at Washington's training camp. That's the good news. The bad news is that his roster position isn't guaranteed by any stretch. Other players have shined over early offseason workouts as Obada works his way back to 100% health. The emotional attachment to Dan Quinn is evident, but there is no room for sentiment when it comes to molding a competitive NFL roster. And once again here, I think Riggo's Rag from Fansided did a pretty darn good job with this list. And once again, I concur with everything that they're talking about here. I mean, yes, some people still think, it was a little bit underwhelming what this team did at the edge rusher position. But I think when you take into account that they're planning on making Jamin Davis essentially like that Micah Parsons type player in this defense, where he's going to be like an outside linebacker, defensive end hybrid that is going to be mostly rushing the passer, I think that things start to look a bit more optimistic at that position because you got Jamin Davis on one edge, then you get Dorrance Armstrong on the other edge. Johnny Newton's going to be playing almost like a 3-4 defensive end type of role. Jonathan Allen will be your true 3 technique at defensive tackle, and then Deron Payne will be your run stuffer that can also provide some pass rushing upside at the nose tackle position. So I really like this starting rotation that they have, and then I also like that you have Cleveland Ferrell, who's a really good early down run stuffer, as a rotational piece. Fedarian Mathis is a good backup nose tackle. Dante Fowler Jr. is somebody that I think could be really good in a rotational role as well. So I think when you look at it from that perspective, I think that this edge rusher position is pretty locked away right now, and I'm not sure if Efe Obada has a true role in this defense here where, maybe he slides in behind KJ Henry, and, I really don't know where he slides in here. He'll probably have to outplay KJ Henry in camp to be able to keep his roster spot this year, in my opinion. Now, let me know down there in the comment section, what will be a surprising cut the Commanders make this year? Will it be Efe Obada? Will it be Percy Butler? Will it be somebody else? Will it be Mitchell Tinsley? What will be a surprising cut that the Commanders make this year? Let me know your prediction down there in the comments. That'll be it for today's show, guys. I appreciate all of your support. Make sure you click that subscribe button if you haven't already, because we got more Commanders content coming your way here just about every day here on YouTube. So make sure you click that subscribe button right now to join the growing family we have here at the Commanders Report.